Welcome back to Talking Dragon Age, the show where I talk about Dragon Age. Today, we're taking a look at the future of the Grey Wardens. First, let's talk about what I'll be calling the Schism, which is a civil war amongst the Wardens. Now, this is just something that's been implied, but not outright confirmed.
Rumors abound that they severed ties with their leaders at Weishaupt, and that a bitter war now rages between them.
Now, let me first say, the idea of a civil war amongst a faction of warriors is something that really appeals to me. I like it. Now, in the Warden's case, what could it be that finally causes this? It's been well established that the Weishaupt Wardens have a very different attitude from the ones of Southern Thedas. Still, Weishaupt's word is law amongst Wardens everywhere, meaning a schism of this size must have been caused by something huge that would have caused a fundamental disagreement regarding the course of the Wardens. I'm guessing Weishaupt made a call so contentious that half the Wardens could not in good conscience follow. Sort of like how the Warden ally went AWOL once Clarel began using demons, or how Cassandra and Cullen left their orders once war was declared. Either that, or the Southern Wardens colossally screwed something up, so Weishaupt finally said enough is enough and declared something. Maybe more oversight, maybe exile, I don't know. Just something that would cause the others to resist. Now, the obvious cause of this is that whole summoning a demon army thing. But I don't know, I feel like there's more to it than that. Because even 2 years later, nothing cataclysmic has happened. But the existence of Corypheus caused the people of Thedas to reconsider what they thought they knew about Darkspawn. For example, where are the others like him? 7 Magisters went into the Black City, 1 for each old god. The only other we have met so far is the Architect. It appears he has no memory of his human life, but what can we trust? It's worth noting that the original plan for Here Lies the Abyss had the Architect showing up at Adamant. That idea was scrapped, but it means that, at some point, he's probably coming back. So what happened to him in Awakening? We had 2 options, kill him or let him go so he can continue his research towards ending the Blight and freeing the Darkspawn from the Calling. Personally, I chose to kill him, which was probably not the best decision, but my Warden didn't know that at the time. So here's what I think happened. He probably has the same ability as Corypheus and the Archdemons, meaning he can possess other blighted bodies if he ever dies. So if you chose to let him go, then he just goes and he does his thing, but if you chose to kill him, he'll have gone and possessed someone else. Chief on the list? Serani. She disappears if the Warden Commander kills the Architect, but regardless of who it was, I'm fairly confident that the Architect is still out there. The question is, what will be the consequences of this decision? Let me just say, the Architect is a fantastic character, and the thing to realize is that, assuming he truly doesn't remember his former life, he is not human.
I sent the Withered to ask for the Grey Warden's help. I should have anticipated that you might view our approach as an attack. I am rarely able to judge how your kind will react. It was most unfortunate.
His goal is to free the Darkspawn of the Calling. He is adamant that he does not want war or conflict, only to save his people. For what it's worth, I believe him. For now. To an extent. Let me address the choices we have now. Like I said, if we let him go, then he goes and he does his thing, and the reason I now think this is the better option is because it says to him that the Wardens can be reasoned with. There is a chance for peace. But if you chose to kill him, then this might be the final kick that makes him say the Wardens will never let us be. So whatever future conflict there is with him, it's essentially going to be either the Architect feeling like he needs to destroy the Wardens to save his people, or some of the Wardens attacking him. This, I think, is something that would cause a rift among Wardens. Some would support the Architect and favor peace, and some would despise him and consider him a threat. Let me just say, this is a delightful conflict. I sincerely hope I'm right about this. Anyway, the point here is that the Architect is a major factor that I believe will play a huge role in the schism. But besides that, we need to consider the other 5 Magisters. Corypheus says he doesn't know what happened to the others, and the Architect doesn't remember what happened at all. But imagine what the Architect must have thought when he heard about Corypheus. I'd find it hard to believe that he was somehow completely oblivious to the events of Inquisition. I can totally understand him not interfering, but I'm sure that he at least heard about it. But yeah, imagine what he must have thought learning that there was another like him. Could that have helped restore his memory? What effect could it have on his plans? Will he attempt to seek out the others? If he heard about Corypheus, he probably also learned about where he came from. So even if he doesn't remember, he must know now that there are others like him. But what will become of the other magisters? Well, it's possible they play a role in the schism. Then again, maybe they won't. Corypheus was locked in a prison. Perhaps some of the others faced a similar fate. There's a codex entry that claims a dwarf may have encountered 3 of them, but the truth of it remains unclear. But like I said, the existence of Corypheus surely caused the people of Thedas to rethink some things, Wardens included. We also have to wonder how much Weishaupt already knew about this. The Wardens are a secretive order, and even most of the senior Wardens don't know most of the secrets. But this brings me back to what's going on with the Wardens. What have they been up to? Well, let's start with Nathaniel. Nathaniel, I think, will play a huge role in the schism. He was in favor of aiding the architect, so I can totally see him on that side, if not actually leading it. I need a name for this side. The Rogues. Good enough for now. So what has he been up to? Well, last we saw, he was part of a team in the deep roads that was searching for the primeval tag.
Delilah says you followed my expedition's route. Why?
You went further into the deep roads than anyone believed possible. The first Warden himself ordered this investigation.
The first Warden himself ordered it. The first Warden himself. That is weird. Why were the Wardens so interested that the first Warden would personally order the investigation? To our knowledge, no one knew about Red Lyrium at all, much less the fact that it had the Blight. So what's up? Did the Wardens know? Well, yeah, probably, but it makes me wonder how much they knew. Clearly they didn't know the exact location of the tag, but the expedition caught their attention. And this is all before the whole realization about Red Lyrium and why it's so significant. Now's a good time to mention Blackwall. Well, Tom Rainier, but I'm still calling him Blackwall. If you sent him to the Wardens, you learn about his duties and a little more about what the Wardens have been up to. We learn that there have been many heated arguments about the Order's future, and that Blackwall was assigned as part of the investigation of the Vimark prison, the one that held Corypheus. So let's take a look at all this. The Wardens are investigating the Vimark prison and the primeval tag. This makes me wonder how much they really knew in the first place. Another important note is that whether or not the Warden commander killed the architect, you get this scene with Nathaniel.
The Warden's allies assured us these tunnels would still be mostly clear, but it seems they were wrong.
They seem to know a great deal about Darkspawn. Are these allies dwarves?
No, not dwarves. It's complicated. Let's just say we live in strange times.
So what's up here? I'm fairly confident he's actually referring to one of the disciples, since you get this conversation either way. Now, I'm going to put these guys on hold for a second because now I need to talk about the Warden. There are a lot of possibilities here. If the hero of Ferelden survived, he or she eventually sets out on a quest to cure the calling. If the hero died, then Awakening sees an Orlesian Warden commander taking up command in Amaranthine. So I think if the hero died, then the Orlesian Warden would then take that place in searching for a cure. So I'll just be saying Warden Commander because I think that covers both possibilities. However, if the hero romanced anyone, then we hear different things regarding his or her current whereabouts.
Her quest took her far to the west, to lands that have never known the Blight.
What? What? You can't just say that like it's nothing special. What? Okay, so there are lands over this way now, and just by some miracle, the Blight has just never made it over there? Okay. Well, if the hero survived and romanced Liliana, and she became divine, then we learn in the epilogue that the couple was often seen together. Now, take this with a grain of salt because the epilogues are notorious for being retconned. Nevertheless, if the Warden has truly returned, I take it that something important happened on the journey. Probably just another lead or clue, but what matters is that the Warden has returned. But what does this mean for the Schism? Well, the important bit here is that the Warden Commander was or is searching for a cure. What I'm imagining here is that the two factions fighting, and then the Warden Commander shows up, smacks them on the head, and says, "Knock it off." So what can we conclude from this? Well, the Schism is coming. The Wardens will divide into the Rogues and Loyalists. The Architect will probably play a role in how it starts, and may even fight with the Rogues. The other 5 Magisters are probably going to show up at some point, and having varying opinions on things. I don't know. Something I haven't mentioned is the other archdemons. Well, Arthemiel's awakening was a fluke. It wouldn't have happened so soon without the Architect's intervention, so there's no telling how close the others are to being awoken. Also note that the Wardens know where the old gods are. They just can't get to them because they are so deep underground and there are far too many Darkspawn in between. However, if the Rogues work with the Architect and the Awakened, they may have a chance to reach them. Now, I'm not saying they should or shouldn't, I'm just putting that out there. But let's also remember, Solas detests the idea of killing the old gods.
I cannot believe the Grey Wardens could even conceive of such a plan. To seek out these old gods deliberately, in some bizarre attempt to preempt the Blight.
And calling the army of demons. That's my favorite part.
The demons are nothing. They're a tool.
Why? Why is this so important? The old gods must factor into his plans then. Or at least the Blight does. What this means is that the Schism will most likely tie into the story with Solas. Perhaps he fuels the flames just enough to the point that he is the reason for the Schism. That's a tall claim to make, though, and there isn't a whole lot to support it, but at the very least, he's involved. Sprinkled throughout Inquisition, he subtly expresses his poor opinion of the Wardens. They must somehow be in the way of his plans, and he needs to deal with them. Alright, so where are we at with this? Well, the Schism is coming, the Architect's involved, the other Magisters might show up, Solas is probably part of it, and the Warden Commander is close to a cure. Man, I can't wait. Alright, that's it for now, guys, so let me know what you think of all this, and if you have any theories of your own, I would love to read about them in the comments. So that's it for now, guys, thank you so much for watching, and remember, Tala na das.